Hello everyone, it's Dave Lindop here again from Radiant Innovation. I'm here to talk to you today about the psychological model, or the model of epistemology, which I use in the context of some of my work as a management consultant. I will talk you through the whole model in a moment, but it's important just to say that it's come from various sources, various philosophers, various commentators on industry, and psychologists. And I've just pulled it together. It doesn't have actual, statistically valid scientific underpinning, but I have found that it works quite well, and most people can identify with what I'm talking about and can understand how it works. So the way it works is that individuals, you and I, are in the middle, in the yellow blocks here. And we can plug into shared resources which are external to us as individuals on either side. So up front we have things going on around us that we notice or pay attention to in the context of our daily lives, whether that be at work or anywhere else in our life. We pay attention to things and we react to them as we notice them. As we get older, or more mature at least, we sometimes find, or hopefully find, that responding to things and making a more considered response, thinking about different options that we might have in front of us and then weighing them up and coming to the right decision, can be more productive and more successful than just reacting in the first thing that comes into our head. And then all of that is based on our personal objectives, the goals that we have as people, and our success criteria, and things like our approach to risk or quality. And all of those things form habits, which may or may not be good habits, and that we need to be careful of as we look back over this. All of that is controlled by a part of the brain, we're not going to go into much detail there, called the amygdala, which is where our fight or flight response comes from and where we keep our values and what matters to us. And then engrams are things floating around in our head like little bits of object-orientated code, really. Little sequences of symbols that tell us how to respond to certain bits and pieces of information. In this part, where we were realising that we're not able to do it on our own and that we need to collaborate with other people to get things done, there are two modes in which that can happen, which are on either side of the diagram. So some of the shared resources are what I call social or organisational resources. Every organisation is held together by its mission, by its values, things that matter to that group of people, whether that be a group of people at work or things like a tribe or a community or even a nation. There is something that holds that group of people together and helps them identify with each other and want to collaborate to get things working in the right way. A lot of that is held together by stories or myths and symbols, things that relate back to these engrams here. Things that people can grab hold of that tell them where they are in a particular story and why that thing matters and why it's a good thing that we should all go for, or why there might be risks with it or whatever. And then we use that to ensure that action does happen. The people who are trying to do that are the leaders of the organisation, normally more senior people, but it doesn't have to be, who are directing attention of each of us as individuals, setting the pace, setting the tone, trying to get things done in the next, whatever it is, tactical period, the next week, the next month, the next year, that a project might be running. Setting the pace and the tone. They also own the outcomes. It matters to them very clearly, and they are the nucleus for this group of people. Over here it's a little bit different. We're talking about data, basically, evidence and observations, and then logic, the rationality that pulls it all together. Some of that is based on mathematics or engineering and science. And it's very important that we realise that those things are there for a reason. They're all tools that we can use to help us understand what's going on around us and help us do the right thing, and or build more collaborative responses over time. So huge projects need lots and lots of people to collaborate for a long time to get something really big and important and lasting done. So those methods and techniques of arithmetic and science and so on can be used in a slightly deeper way to do what I call analysis or synthesis. So the imagination, corroboration of where we're going, what this direction is, and the establishment over time of best practice. So you might look at other organisations and how they do things and try and work out if there is something in that that you can use to improve your own way of doing things. All of that then leads to what I call a model of the world. We all have a model in our head of how things work. And hopefully that has evolved over time and it's been iterated and tried and tested and experienced. The danger with it is that it can become a bit of a comfort zone and you can be cutting yourself off from certain ways of doing things in a new and different way that might be more successful for you. So it's important to realise that this is a dynamic model. Down here you may find that something in the outer world has changed. All of a sudden people are not able to deal with a certain type of economic or political value or cultural value, whatever it might be, and that means that your world is changing, and so your model of the world might need to change as well, and you might need to have some interim goals and objectives that are a bit different from what you did have. So some of this stuff can be changed. More likely it's that you need to change the story, so things like your brand strategy, things like maybe the actual way that your organisation is structured, things like how you're managing information and innovation and interpretation might need to be changed. But basically the point is you need to just do things that are going to be making your organisation more successful, and you need to base that on actual facts and data collection and observation, not just making things up down here about wouldn't it be nice if the world was a bit different and we could change everything. Okay, hopefully that's made some sense. As I said, you don't really need to be troubled with it too much. I don't normally go into it in much detail, but every now and then bits and pieces of what I do for people as a consultant relate quite directly to one or other section of the diagram in a very particular way. Hopefully that's been reasonable, and please do feel free to communicate with me through the blog and ask any questions that you might like about it. Thanks a lot. Bye.